Hey guys, I'm going to be going over a triangle series here. In today's video, I'm going to go over the 4 different ways to finish the triangle, and then in the next video, we're going to go over all the setups. Alright guys, I'm going to roll through all the different ways to finish the triangle from closed guard and all the different scenarios for it. So, contrary to popular belief, there is not one best way to finish the triangle, but it's going to be how your opponent reacts. We'll go over all those reactions another time, but for now, I'm just going to show each and every finish from different coaches that picked up over time. So probably the easiest one is the one that I saw from the Tom DeBloss video that Matt has, and that is he has bad knees, so it's very hard to pull on his legs to try to create this angle for the triangle. He said he'd dislocate his knees. So what Tom does is he doesn't really care if this arm is on the proper side or not. The one thing that he wants is he wants their head down, and then he reclamps, almost pushing them backwards. So you want your leg to be about perpendicular to the rest of the mat. So he reclamps tight and curls his toes with that Jiu Jitsu foot, and then crosses his ankles and pinches and pulls down on the head. So all it is your leg comes in and chops down their back, and it drags back up to your chest. And then you pinch your knees together and pull down on the head very slowly. So one more time. It doesn't matter if the arm is across or if it's here or if they have a grip right here. The only thing is you want their head to be facing down, and then you try to bite as far back, almost into his back pocket over on this side, as far as you can with the choking leg. And the other one just crosses over nice and gently, and then you pinch your legs together and you pull your heels and your knees to your chest, and you pinch and you pull down on the head, just like that. So that's the Tom DeBloss finish, or the lazy finish, or if you have bad knees, very easy way to finish big people too. So now we're going to another coach. So if you talk about John Danaher, his main focus is angle. And usually, whichever leg the choking leg is, you want your head to be pretty much perpendicular to their head. And you want this type of angle. And his focus is, Matt's shoulder is right here, and I want to try to hide it with my thigh. And I almost want to try to knee him in the ear or the side of the head. And what it does is, instead of being out here where his shoulder's still in the mix, we pull the shoulder out of the mix by kneeing them in the ear and trying to be on their tricep rather than the shoulder. And then when you lock it, I have long legs, so I can lock it fully if I want to, but even if you can't, your goal should be to just do this, and even if you're up here, that's totally fine. And then your goal is to try to touch your heels down on the mat over here and pull your legs to your chest, and then you can squeeze down and do that. So I hide his shoulder with my thigh. I don't try to lock the triangle in, because on bigger people, you'll never be able to lock that triangle in right away. You may be able to on smaller people, but as a good rule of thumb, you just try to bring and slide your knee up to your foot and hide your shoulder, and then throw this over. Or even if it's down here by the ankle a little more, it doesn't matter, as long as you just hide that shoulder of theirs. And then you pull everything down and together to finish that one. So that's the Danaher one. One more time. You want this angle so that my head is perpendicular to their head, and then you hide the shoulder, and then you squeeze, and you curl your heels down and try to bring them down onto the mat over here. So this one I'm not a big fan of because it requires a lot of strength and energy, but anytime somebody has their arm wrapped around your hip like this, you can S-grip or chain grip your hands behind your legs, and then you just point your feet towards the ceiling while they're crossed, and you extend your arms together all at the same time for the Teepee triangle. But this one requires a lot of energy, and a lot of times it doesn't choke them, it neck cranks them in the triangle, but you extend everything away at the same time, and it gets very tight very quickly. But again, to hold that for a long period of time is very difficult, and if on average it takes around 6 seconds to choke somebody unconscious, holding that one for 6 seconds is not an easy task. So, one that I saw from one black belt is instead of having your triangle locked up the traditional way where the top leg is the choking leg and you lock the triangle that way, you take your underhook leg over across the back of their shoulders and lock in the triangle on the other side. And now in this one, the opposite of the Danaher style, I want my head off to the other side, and then you can pinch your legs together from here on top of the knees like that to finish. Or if they're a lot smaller than you, you can just pinch down and finish it like a regular triangle. But usually you're cutting off this angle to try to attack the arm, but just as a point of reference, you can move off to the side and actually finish the triangle from there. So only when they hug your hip like this, instead of locking the triangle the regular way, you try to lock it the opposite way. And then you're trying to bring your knees together and pinch the entire time. A lot of times it's very easy to S-grip and just squeeze from here. Unlike the Teepee one, where I have it under my legs, this one, you go on top of your knees and you can squeeze here for a lot longer period of time. But it's a lot better to try to attack the arm, but we'll go over that another time. So from closed guard, usually you have those three options. One, you're squared up with them and you do the Tom DeBlass one, or the lazy one, or the one that's very good against big people. You do the John Danaher one, which is the perfect one. You get off to the angle as far as you can and you hide their shoulder with your knee. Or if they hook your leg or your thigh on the underhook side, then you can shift off to that side and lock a reverse triangle up and clamp it down and squeeze.